Ramu stood at the very edge of his parched field, feeling the sharp, cracked earth biting into his calloused feet. The sun beat down mercilessly on his small plot, the only patch of land he owned in this dusty, forgotten village. Beside him, his two oxen stood listless, their ribs showing clearly through thin hides. The village wells had run dry weeks ago, and the heavy silence of the drought hung like a shroud over the valley. While other farmers packed their meager belongings to flee toward the distant city, Ramu remained. He gripped his rusted plow with white knuckles, looking at his wife and children. Their faces were gaunt, their eyes hollow with hunger. Ramu pointed a steady finger toward the shimmering horizon. "We do not run," he said, his voice as firm as the stone beneath them. "We dig deeper." From that moment, Ramu became a creature of the night and the dawn. He spent his days hauling heavy buckets of water from a distant, muddy spring. His shoulders grew raw and began bleeding from the crushing weight of the yoke. Yet, he never faltered. Every evening, he returned to the field to turn the stubborn, sun-baked soil. His fingers were raw and blistered, but his spirit remained unbroken as he fought against the dying land. He was a man possessed by a single, desperate hope. His neighbors watched from their shaded porches, whispering about his futility. They called him a fool, a man chasing ghosts in the dust. But Ramu did not look up. He worked until his muscles burned like fire and his vision blurred into a haze of sweat and dirt. Then, on one scorching afternoon, a government official arrived in the village, his jeep kicking up massive clouds of dust that choked the air. The official stopped at the edge of the village, scanning the barren, brown landscape until his eyes caught a sudden, impossible sliver of green. He walked toward the only field that showed signs of life. There, he found Ramu, knee-deep in the dirt, clearing stones from a small irrigation channel he had dug by hand. The official watched in silence as Ramu carefully tended to the few surviving stalks of grain, treating them like precious gold. Impressed by the sheer scale of the labor and the man's iron will, the official signed a document on the spot. Within a week, the sound of an engine echoed through the valley. A truck arrived, delivering modern irrigation pumps, high-yield seeds, and a massive portable water tank. The tide had finally turned. The transformation was swift and miraculous. By the time the next harvest arrived, Ramu's field had become a shimmering sea of gold, dancing under the bright sun. The neighbors who had once mocked him now stood silently at his fence, their own fields empty.